very NASDAQ, it's up 22 points. NASDAQ and Dow also up about 22 points. This is the final and most important hour of the trading day. The Dow flirts with 11,000, but today the NASDAQ has the grander gains in percentage terms. We'll look at whether the techs are finally ready to join the Dow and the S&P on the way up. Also, as the markets regain some tone, are individual investors like you getting back in the game, and how enthusiastically? And we'll explore whether some top-performing sectors, from home builders to energy providers, still have room to run. This is The Closing Bell on CNBC. Welcome, everyone, to The Closing Bell. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tyler Mathis.
And I'm Maria Bartiromo. Take a look at where we stand right now on Wall Street as we approach the final stretch of trading. The Dow Jones Industrial Average off of the best levels of the session, but still higher. Talking about multi-year highs yet again. The Dow up about 19 points. S&P 500 up 4 points. Again, it too off of the best levels of the afternoon. And the NASDAQ, it's the winner on a percentage basis, up about 1%, 21 points higher at 2,091.
And we have complete market coverage with less than an hour to go in the trading day, exactly 58 minutes and 50 seconds. Joe Kernan watching the individual stocks that are moving today. Bertha Coombs live on the trading floor at SG Cowen. Bob Pisani at the New York Stock Exchange. But we do begin with the big story of the day, at least in percentage terms, and that is at NASDAQ. And for that, we turn to Leslie LaRoche as part one of our Market Minute. Leslie.
Thank you very much, Tyler. Yes, a very good set of internals here and an extensive list of new highs at the NASDAQ, as the NASDAQ basically is the outperforming group today. A couple of interesting things. Russell 2000, so the small caps are lagging today. You know, we've talked so much about why techs have lagged so far this year. In part why they've lagged so far this year is because they were the leadership group at the end of last year. And so they had basically been resting for the last couple of months. NASDAQ intraday, yes, did achieve 2100, did not hold it, but is holding above the 50-day moving average. These are very good gains. Intel up 2.5%. Microsoft is finally participating in an up day, and Oracle up 3%. Let's talk a little bit about, in terms of tech check, some of the technicals here. This from Richard Suttmeyer saying the NASDAQ short-term technicals are positive. Cisco oversold and trading below its 200-week moving average. Intel is also below its 200-week moving average. So some positive chart patterns there. This SMH, that's the tradable basket of semiconductor stocks, and is looking at July highs, number of chip mid-quarters this week. This really will be the key theme, whether chips can continue to rally, because we will hear from Intel, Texas Instruments, Xilinx, and Altera all this week. Where are we seeing the laggards in today's trading? Some of the steel stocks that, in large measure, some folks are saying have been overextended. They have been rallying for much of the past year. Let's leave it there for now. The NASDAQ is up 22 points. Tyler, let's go downtown instead and check in with Bob Pisani at the New York Stock Exchange. Robert?
Thank you, Leslie. And I know a little bit of suspense is whether or not the Dow hits 11,000 today. That is not nearly as important as what else is going on, and that is that the markets are continuing to extend the gains that they saw last week into new high territory. So the Dow Industrials, the Dow Utilities, the Dow Transports, all three at new multi-year highs. That very rarely happens when you get all three of them. Secondly, as Leslie told you about, the NASDAQ outperforming. That is very good because the NASDAQ has been lagging recently. And finally, I think the main other topic of conversation down here is the simple fact that we are continuing to see very strong indications that there's confidence in the boardroom. Where are they showing that? Number one, mergers and acquisitions. 3 big M&A deals coming on the heels of a huge series of months in November and December and January. That gives confidence. Secondly, stock buybacks are strong. 2004 record year. I just talked to Standard & Poor's. They believe 2005 will be another record year. We've seen tremendous stock buyback activity announced for February. Finally, stock dividend increases. We're seeing records, overall records in that area as well. What's it all boil down to? A lot of confidence that corporations have in the future and trying to give some of that cash back to the shareholders. Let me just conclude by noting that we're getting a big IPO this week, the International Securities Exchange, one of the big options exchanges going public. And Maria, we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thanks. Let's get to the stocks moving today. Joe Kernan is stocks editor. He's watching the day's biggest movers. Joe, take it away.
Thank you, Maria. Please don't email me. I want to mention Martha Stewart, but not to talk about that stock. I want to talk about Kmart and Sears. But look at Martha Stewart. We're going to take a quick look at the stock because it's down. It's down again today after a big sell-off on Friday. This looked like a prime example